Thank you for that kind introduction. I'm kidding. Thanks. I came in a little late. First, I want to thank Bill. Thanks for your leadership and invitation to be here, an introduction. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank MetLife has been an absolute leader in when it comes to companies talking to their own employees about the importance of trade and accessing markets overseas. And I think we're going to change the tenor of trade discussions in this country. More companies are going to have to be talking to more of their workers about it, and we really appreciate MetLife's leadership in this crucial area. I'd like to thank Bob Bastine for the offer to come speak today. I'm honored to be here, but looking at the agenda, this is truly a who's who of thought leaders in government, in business, in global institutions, academia. Going through the agenda last night, wish I would have been attending most of these panels, because you really have not only key people but key issues. And so Bob, thanks for your leadership at this summit. Joe Crowley, it's a delight to work with Joe. He's not just a thought leader, he's an action leader on the Hill. We need more people like him. He takes these issues very seriously, and he's in a Democratic caucus that he has to fight a bit uphill on, but he's willing to do that. We need those type of leaders. So Joe just left, but tell him I said good things about him. I should say, too, the Services Caucus, which we co-chair, is now in its third year. We're making real progress. I think the membership of it is very important. There are very few places in Congress today where you have a broad range of members from all regions of the country who are strongly in support of the services sector and making sure we're looking for new opportunities, including in our trade agreements, to move services forward. So, and especially now in the 111th Congress, we're continuing to add to the membership of the caucus, and I think that says good things about the importance of services in the country. If ag and manufacturing are the muscle of the U.S. economy, then services is the central nervous system. Services are important in their own right, to be sure, but they're also means to an end. They link, like the brain and the spine, they're always a vital link to virtually all other sectors of the economy. This is one of the points we try to make to other members of Congress. We have a strong ag industry. We have a strong manufacturing industry. Services makes them both better, and makes them both better not just here at home, but as they seek to access new markets around the world. For example, the express delivery sector facilitates the success of manufacturers and all other sectors of the U.S. and global economies. Similarly, electronic payment providers facilitate everyday transactions and hold up the retail sector, again here, and as we export outside. Despite our heavy reliance on services, services have been playing catch-up a bit in the trade policy. It was first the world's trading nation signed the GATT in 1947, but the U.S. Department of Commerce didn't even track or compile statistics on U.S. trade and services until 1986. Even though services has come somewhat late to the effort, the fact that it is arriving now, I think the past 3 or 4 years, Bob, underscores its importance overall, and it's rising, I think, rising knowledge that this is an area critical to the United States, I think critical to the world, where developing countries can enhance themselves, seek new opportunities, and we can facilitate ag and manufacturing, whether it's in Doha or any other agreement as well. The U.S., we're blessed. We have a very large services market, largest in the world, one of the world's largest services powerhouses. We are the largest exporter of services, 14% of global cross-border commercial services export, which has got the #2 country, UK, beat by quite a ways. Among the world's top 10 exporters and importers of commercial services, the U.S. recorded the largest trade surplus of all, $144 billion last year. Our commercial presence and sales abroad for America has been on the rise in a big way. According to the Commerce Department, from 1986 to 1995, our U.S. cross-border services exports exceeded sales by U.S. foreign affiliates by annual average margins of approximately 18%. But since then, it's changed. The service sales of our companies overseas have overtaken our cross-border transactions. In fact, in 2006, foreign affiliate sales of U.S. firms nearly doubled those made on a cross-border basis. So that presence abroad is resulting in sales of U.S. products. And I think the best news here is that those increased sales haven't come at the expense of growth in our cross-border transactions. In fact, we've experienced double-digit growth from 2002 through last year. I think investment protections in our bilateral investment treaties and our trade agreements allow our service companies to sell America. As we all know, it's not enough to buy American, we need to sell American throughout the world. U.S. education, healthcare, service companies investing in developing countries helps to reduce poverty, increase living standards, and ultimately create new markets for all U.S. exporters. And without a doubt, I think liberalization of foreign investment rules and increased protection for foreign investors abroad have been of immeasurable value, not only to the host country, but also to the American services country who set up those shops. American investment abroad makes American services companies and their employees stronger. The picture, though, for the United States is not entirely rosy. Europe as a whole accounts for more than half of the world's services exports, more than 3 times U.S. volume. And even in the services sector, our output and competitiveness can continue to improve. Clearly, the services sector demands our focus, as is the topic for this summit. The key question is, what can we do to help create jobs in those areas? You'd have to start first, obviously, with Doha. Since the Doha round began, 2001, the U.S. trade surplus in services has increased by 124%. Some would say, well, that's enough. Why not lock in what you have? Why do you need a result on services in Doha? Well, let me give you a political answer and then the economic one as well. The political answer is that we need it if we're going to sell Doha in its ultimate completion. Service sector jobs account for the largest share of employment in every congressional district. Services jobs account for the largest employment sector in every congressional district in Congress. If we're going to push this deal across the line, there will have to be new sectors. It's just that simple. The economic answer is that we are an economy, our economy services are pervasive. To not open up trade and services through Doha would be a missed opportunity of massive proportions. This is what CSI has been saying at every turn in every capital around the world. And I think it's a message that has to be understood and should be, I think, accepted and embraced by ministers who are negotiating with us in Doha. Services are around in New Delhi. Ministers agreed to re-engage in services. Last week, negotiators just finished a cluster of meetings in Geneva. We'll have another cluster in November where capital-based officials will return for a stock-taking of what has transpired in the 14 months since the underwhelming July 2008 signaling conference. So we need new and robust focus on services in this round. And I would urge, I know Ambassador Kirk spoke to you yesterday, talked about the positive aspect of services. We are encouraging him to focus on it. Joe and I and a number of other members of Congress, as you are, and I would urge his minister counterparts from across the globe to focus on it as well. I really think the success of this deal all around depends on services. It just does. I'm not a trade negotiator, but I'll make one observation. Within the context of negotiation, services can raise everyone's votes. China and India rank as the world's 7th and 9th largest service exports, respectively. They have offensive interests in new services, market access. I believe this is a piece of negotiation, is a potential game changer for the entire round, and I think key, again, to selling here in the U.S. Joe Crowley talked about our pending free trade agreement.